Today we're going to talk about the job interview. We talked about the CV, how to write a resume in a good way. We talked about how to write the application, and now you sent in the application and you're on your way for your job interview, your first job interview. But before that, Sarah would like to show a movie, a short clip from YouTube. It's from here, from KTH, from KTH, this autumn. And it's one former student, right? Yeah.
My name is Sarfraz Ashfaq. I came from Pakistan and I came in Sweden in 2005. I did Masters in Software Engineering of Distributed System in IT University. It's called Royal Institute of Technology, also in Kista in Stockholm. I'm currently working in Fortum. Fortum is a big Swedish and Finnish joint venture in energy sector. And I'm working in their IT department as a system manager, solution architect. It's depend on person to person, but I applied through internet on company website, and then I got interview call. I gave 2 tests there, aptitude tests, and then interview to the manager and HR, and then finally got it. The big advantage in Sweden are you don't face any problem that you don't know Swedish. There are many jobs that you can apply just for English speakers. Even the work will be in English and interview will be in English. Your colleagues will be very nice to you, even just if you are there for interview only. So I don't think so the Swedish is a big problem as a language. If you don't know, you can't say that you will not have a job. I know many persons that they don't know Swedish yet, but they are doing their job. But it depends if the job don't require the Swedish language, then it will be. Otherwise, they will excuse you on that stage. I think to look a job here is rather easy than Pakistan or South Asian countries, because everything you can find on internet. There are some websites and career center in university also. You can consult with them. You can see on internet. You can join the career fairs in KTH. During my studies, I attend that. It's Armada. And then you come to know that there are many companies they are looking for new employees. So you applied on their job, and if you are competent, you will get interview call. Plan for future, I think I will work more in my IT sector and will become a managing position, maybe in Fortum, where currently I'm working in energy sector, and I will stay here in Sweden. I like Sweden. I'm newly married, and my wife moved last December here also, and she's learning Swedish, so we have a permanent plan to live here. KTH is a very big and world-renowned university, so be confident on yourself, be confident on KTH name. Apply in Sweden, in all over the Europe, where you would like to have your dream job or research work. So keep confidence on yourself and our KTH name also.
So we start with some of the most important questions to actually go through. And why do you want to work for this company? That is a very big question here. It's very important that you let them know why you would like to work there. And I also suggest to a lot of people that are applying for a job here in Sweden to find 10 companies that they would like to work for. And so you bring out 10 companies you like to work for, and you also put them in rank, which one you mostly would like to work for. You put that number 1, and then you keep an eye on their website, and then number 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and down to 10. After a while, you will see that there is 5 companies that are more interesting for you than other companies, and that's so much easier for you to find a job in these 5 companies than anywhere else, because they will feel that, they will know that. When you write your CV and when you write your application, when you come for an interview, they will understand that this is a company you like. So it could be like KTH, it could be like Google, it could be IKEA, or for Fortum, like for this guy. So just find it. 10 companies, that's a very good one. The other one is, why is this job interesting for you? Normally the answer is because I would like to develop, I would like to, things like that. No, the thing you should bring up is what is it you can contribute with? What is it that you can give to the company? I see my skills would really do this for the company. My skills in this area would really contribute to make this better in some way. And also all the time when you have when you talk to them, when you're talking about these kind of things, think about it. What is it you can contribute to? Because if you start to talk about what is it you can get from it, then a lot of recruiters will, just okay, you are just out for getting. You don't want to contribute to the company or to this work. So that is a very important thing. And also, I'd like here to have that you take out 10 questions about this company you're going for an interview to. Find 10 questions. You can have 10 questions find it from the website, find it from somewhere else. Maybe you have some colleagues, some friends that have been working there or something like that. You find 10 questions. You will not use them all, but it's good to have. Good to have, remember, think about them and so on. And then we come to the strengths. And the strengths is something very important to bring up. And I recommend that you find 3 of them. And it could be like that you are very analytic or anything like that. But if you just say like I'm very analytic, I'm a very social, and I am very driven, for instance, that's just 3 words. It doesn't mean anything. So you should connect them to something you've been doing. So you connect them. For instance, here I said I've been very driven, and when I was with this company, my drive increased the company's margin with 17%. Then they can also, when they call this company, they can see this guy, he says he's very driven. Yes, he was. He was very driven. So they can always find out. For instance, I could say that I'm a world champion in rock climbing, but if you don't have any proof of that, it's just words. So that is why it's so important to have these strengths. You prepare them, you talk about it, and you think about it. And you can also ask your friends about them. Is this, a good way to say it? And the next one is, what is it you can develop? Some people talk about weaknesses and so on, and I choose to say, what is it you can develop? Because then you can talk about it like a development. And here also I would like you to have examples, because then you can tell them that you are having this kind of, because if you say weakness, I have this weakness, no, well then you just mention that. No, you say also, what is it I can develop? For instance, I put up here, I used to play football, so I like to. I'm also telling them I'm a team player, but I also say that I done some exercise before, and now I haven't been doing that for a while, and I would like to do that. And of course, the company can benefit from that. They can benefit from that you are actually more healthier, you're out playing football, you're social, you're meeting people here. So maybe also if it is, for instance, what you would say, then you can also say, do you have a team in your company? A lot of the companies, big companies here in Stockholm, they have actually football players, football team, and other kind of sports activities in the company. And so find 3 examples. And also connect them to, so you see the development. And just to find like a weakness, it doesn't show any development. So 3 examples that you prepare. And then I would like you to, thank you. I would like you to tell a story, tell your story, tell the story about yourself. They might ask you, tell us a little bit more about yourself. And then you start when you were born and where you were, raised and all that. No, you don't. I'm sorry. You start here and now, and you go back. You start, for instance, maybe you came here to Sweden 2 years ago and you started to studying into KTH, and during this time I've been studying. I've been, doing this and this. I've been studying some Swedish, and I also learned a little, this Swedish strange dancing you have here. These kind of things. And then you have this, it's like a chunk, chunk with this study. And then you go back, okay, before that, I was living there, and I was working with this and this, and I was, and I was doing on my spare time, I was doing that for, say, 5 years. And then before that, and then you go on, you move on backwards all the time. So you start here and now, and you go backwards. And this is also something you should practice. You should pick out, find this, and you should practice it. Tell a friend, tell the mirror or anyone. Just tell it so you know this. And that is good because if you start here and now and go backwards, then you can continue to go until they say stop or thank you, or maybe say 10 years back in time. They're normally not more interested than, 10 years, something like that back, 10, maybe 15 years. And if you come to 10, 15 years back in time and they still seem to be listening to you, you can ask them, would you like me to continue? So this is also something you can practice. So remember to tell the story from here now and backwards and make it into chunks. It's easy to make it into chunks of studies, work, and things like that. And also, since you're foreigners, you're coming here to Sweden, we would like to know that you would like to stay. So the question will come up, where are you in 5 years? What is your future? What plans do you have? So if you let them know that my plans is to move back to my country in 6 months, do you think you will get a job? No, of course not, because then they have to do it all over again. So they would like to know that your plan is to stay here in Sweden. So then you let them know, you tell them something, my plan is to, get this job, and of course, in 5 years I see that I've been developing a lot of skills, and I see that I can, move on in this company, and, I might be able to reach this, position in the company and so on. And also, I have my family back home there, and we're talking about to move here to Sweden, and also I started to learn some Swedish or something like that. So you let them know that your plans are to stay here in Sweden, because the recruiting is very expensive, and it takes a lot of effort to recruit people. So that's why they would really like to do that. So this is also something you should write down. What is it? What are you doing in 5 years? What are you doing in the future? It doesn't have to be 5 years, but in the future, 3 to 5 years. And when you go to the interview, you prepare yourself mentally by thinking, what would I like to happen? What is the outcome from this interview? What would I like to be, and how would I like it to be? And most of the time we are scared, we are nervous, we think that I will have a total meltdown and I will forget everything, and these kind of disastrous thinking that we have. But I would like you to have a positive one. Think out a positive, outcome from this interview. You will probably not have an answer immediately that you get hired, but you can have a positive outcome. You can have had, for instance, it was fun, it was nice, I felt really relaxed, and I was very comfortable, and I was well prepared. So these kind of things. So you picture yourself that, and then you start to relax a little bit more. And here I said also, first impression lasts. And it is true. I don't know if there's more here than in other countries, but I know here it's very important. And here you have, I say, dress like they do. You check the website. If you have the opportunity to go there, then you go there. You pass that company. You see, do they have a dress code? Is everybody having a suit? Do they have a tie? If they not have a tie, then you can have a shirt and you can have a tie. It's better to dress up a little bit more than what they are, because that shows that I can take off this tie. It's easy, but it's difficult to go home and get a tie. You should show them that you actually can, when you are there at the interview, you can stay there and work. You fit into the company. So that is important also, to have the same, you dress the same way like they do. And of course you're clean, you're shaved, and you're everything you need to prepare for that also. And then we have to practice also handshake. It's very important. Would you like to come up here? It's very important to practice your handshake. The handshake here is very important. We have there's a lot of things going on when we shake hand the first time. So if we shake hand, you meet in here. This is where you meet. You take the whole way, and then you shake your hand, and then you look in the eyes. Most people do like this. They look in their hand until they're there, and then they look up. I would like you to practice to actually look in the eyes, sorry. Look in the eyes and shake your hands. And also, if you press too hard, if I squeeze your hand too hard, I am compensating for something. I overcompensate for something. And if it's too loose, I'm afraid, I'm nervous. So it's very important that you practice this handshake, and also practice with a woman. Because if you squeeze too hard, a lot of women are recruiters. If you squeeze too hard, she will get scared, okay? So you practice normally, and just for a short also while. You don't hold too long, just like this, and then it's over. Just to give you a first impression there. Thank you. And also, do we have sweaty palms? Yes, we do. Almost everybody. I don't know about you, but most of the people I talk to, they have sweaty palms. And it's not nice, you know that. It's not nice to shake hands with someone that's all wet, So what do? You have a napkin. You have a napkin in your pocket or somewhere where you think it's good. And you sit there before and you wait and you have it in your hand, and that makes it dry and it also makes it warm. So you have it, and it's a perfect one to have. Actually, I heard there was a guy who was going for an interview, and it was in the winter, and he had a sock in his hand. He had it in his pocket because it kept him warm also. So he was when he was shaking his hand, it was warm and dry. It's very nice also. So, and then we come to the body language. This is something a lot of people, miss. They don't think about this one. I can show you here a little bit. Normally you sit down. I don't know if everybody can see me here now. Normally you sit down. And I also noticed, because I met a lot of people, a lot of people coming from, I think it's more from Asia, and that men likes to sit like this, okay? And that's not good here in Sweden, especially if there is a woman who is recruiting. So you should sit like this. You cross your legs like this, and you sit like this. Sometimes you move over and you sit like this. It's okay. And then some people sit like this. What does it say? Sorry?
It's cold.
It's cold, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it could be I'm cold, but also I'm nervous. I have to protect myself. So what you do is, it doesn't matter if you feel like you have to protect yourself. You keep you open up. You have your hands like this, or you have them here on your knee, or something like that. So the body language is really important, because if you sit like this and you sit like this, it's not a good feeling, right? A tip is to follow the one who is questioning you. So if they are sitting like this, then you sit like this. If they are sitting like this, then you sit like this. You don't follow immediately. You're not looking at them and say, oh, he's doing like that. Oh, I need to change now. No, you follow it smoothly. This is something you can practice also. And I know women, you don't sit like this. So women, this. But guys, think about it. Put your legs like this. This is the Swedish way to do it, Scandinavian way to do it. So just sit like this, practice this one. Oh yeah, and then also sometimes the recruiter gets very interesting and lean forward, sits like this. Then you should do it after a while, because then you show, okay, you're interesting. I also show that I'm interesting. But if you start with this, yes, I'm really interested in this work. I would really like to have this work. So you sit like this all the time. No, you start with sitting like this, relaxed, and you lean back just like that. But if the recruiters move in front like this, then you do it also after a while, okay? So this is what you have to practice during the interview to remember the body language. And it's very important because then you feel connected. You feel connected to the recruiter feel connected to you. So it will help you. And then we come to before you go in there. So what I recommend everybody to go is be there 10, 15 minutes before. No more, because if you are half an hour before, what happens? You start to think, you start to fantasize, you start to think that this will be the disaster and all these kind of things. No, just go there and be there 10, 15 minutes before, that's enough. And while you're waiting, you relax. And there's a lot of ways to relax. I would like you now to put your hand on your stomach, and then you take 5 deep breaths. So you feel your stomach going out. So what happens? Someone notice what happened? You relax. Your shoulders relax, you relax. Someone notice what happened to me? The voice. I lowered my voice. I always lower my voice when I do this exercise. That's what happened. And that's when you are relaxed, you will show the best side of you. So you're supposed to be relaxed. You should be relaxed. So that's why I tell you, go there, be there 10, 15 minutes before, do this exercise, relax. And also during the interview, all of a sudden you might feel that you are sitting like this and you are breathing up here and you're nervous or something like that, and you feel your sweaty palms and you think that everybody sees that you are that, and you see the, the mind gets crazy sometimes. Then you start to breathe like this. You can, you don't have to put your hand. It's just a reminder to remember to breathe deeply into the stomach. So, a summary. You should prepare the questions. There's a lot of questions on the internet to find. There's a lot of questions about, how to prepare. I brought up some of them. I think these are the most important. These are the most significant for Sweden also. And also practice your handshake and do this relax. Practice that one also. And then ask questions. You prepared 10 questions. You probably won't ask the 10 questions because one question leads to another questions, and then you have 7 other ones. But you don't ask all of them. Some of them. You be relaxed. I can't stress out how important it is to be relaxed. And then sometimes, maybe most of the time, the salary question comes up. And if you feel comfortable to talk about the salary, yes, I would like to have this, then you do that. Otherwise you say, okay, yes, I'm not prepared for that one. Is it okay for me to come back to you about that one? That's also fine to do that. If they really, we would really like to have an answer to that question, then you can say, well, the union probably have, like a level, and something around that one. And I would say, if you can find where the salary is and you prepare yourself for that, that's good. Otherwise, you don't have to do it. You can come back to that one. Because it's also good to have that, because then you need to come back to them. And that will also bring you back on top of the minds. And before you leave, ask about the next step. What is the next step? How do we proceed this one? Do I call you? Do you call me? How long shall I wait? The best way to do that is actually to ask them, what is the next step now? And then, if you haven't heard from them, you can call them in a week. If they haven't said anything else, so you can call them after a week. So that is the basics of a job interview, how to do a job interview here in Scandinavia, in Sweden specifically.